Hey fish friends, it's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot, and I'm here with your October 2018 reading. This month I'm reading with the Anima Mundi deck, which is primarily illustrations of animals, also nature-y things. They're not completely animals, but I'm really excited about it. I just got it for my birthday in September, and so I'm sticking with the format that I've been doing the last couple of months. So the first, it's a 3-card spread. The first card indicates what to focus on this month. The second card indicates what to set aside for the month. And the third card indicates an additional consideration for the month. So to get into your reading, for your focus of the month, you drew the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is a pretty lucky card. It's about going with the flow of life and kind of like the unexpected gifts it can bring along your way, which is pretty exciting. It can also be about just sort of the unpredictability, because, you know, the wheel is just turning. Sometimes we're not sure like what's going to come, and sometimes we could be like working really hard for something and then unexpectedly something else happens and it just completely, you know, like undid the work we did, or that would maybe be a little bit more of a reversed Wheel of Fortune. So with it upright, it's kind of more about receiving unexpected gifts from the universe. Sounds a little woo-woo, but it's a great focus for the month, and it's also kind of, there's not as much of an impetus on you to be responsible for like doing a certain thing this month or acting a certain way this month or emulating, you know, a certain court card personality this month. It's more about just going along with things, you know, taking it easy isn't maybe quite the right way to say that, but it's just sort of about, yeah, just going with the flow. You're going to be going with the flow, and it's going to be positive, and there's going to be potentially some unexpected good things coming your way. For a set aside, interestingly, you drew Temperance. Which is not typically something we think about setting aside, which is why I love this spread, because it kind of makes you reevaluate some of the cards and when their timing can be actually appropriate for you. So in a set aside, I kind of see this as Temperance as being kind of calm. It's taking the middle road. It's not going this way or that way, like definitively. It's just sort of being this mellow, almost in a way kind of similar to the Wheel of Fortune, not exactly the same, because and it's also in your set aside, and you're focusing on the Wheel of Fortune this month. So with Temperance in your set aside, I think it's asking you to come down on one side of something with a bit more of a finite decision. So if maybe in the past you've kind of been the peacekeeper between a certain group of people, maybe it's family, maybe it's at work, if you found yourself typically playing this role where you're making sure people are being fair to each other, and sort of almost refereeing the people around you a little bit into behaving, maybe, if you will, by just kind of being like the calm in the storm. It's maybe not time to do that this month. Maybe you kind of need to step away from that being your role so much, because you're not responsible for other people all the time. You know, it's like a very loving thing to give to people if you are this role in people's lives often. But it seems like that's not for you this month. So particularly if it's causing you some strain and you feel like it's taking a lot out of you, then, you know, just dial it back, you know, concentrate kind of like on what's working for you this month, on just sort of taking things a day at a time, keeping your eye out for anything lucky that might be coming your way. And yeah, it's sort of telling yourself to take a break from, oh, my cat just jumped onto my lap, from maybe some of the normal like peacekeeping kinds of responsibilities that you have felt in your life. So, and for your final card, which is the Seven of Swords, or which is in the position, I mean, it is the Seven of Swords, you do the Seven of Swords, but it's in the position of just an additional consideration for the month. You drew the Seven of Swords. Spoiler alert. And so it's kind of like, I see it actually complementing Temperance a bit in this placement, because it's almost like, in addition to it not being your responsibility to always being sort of the referee and the one trying to like make people get along, or maybe that's not always your role, but maybe you found yourself in it lately. So in addition to that, you also want to be a little bit more honest with people this month. Not to say that you're typically dishonest, but maybe you are a little bit more in Temperance role, where you're kind of like trying to calm things down, trying to have people like be fair, and that's all well and good, but sometimes you also just have to kind of like be a little bit more direct with people and be like, hey, what you're doing isn't okay. Sometimes it's not about making everyone just sort of like peaceably retreat into their respective like fairness corners. Sometimes it's about, you know, taking a stand against something that's wrong. So that could be another reason why Temperance is something to set aside for this month. If you see something going on around you that is harming other people, that's very obviously not okay, then you don't want to be temperate in that situation. You want to, you know, you want to kind of stand up for what's right and make your voice known, and all of that kind of like harder mind sword energy stuff. So, you know, it's not easy, but, you know, that being said, even if you do have to have like some kind of more direct conversations this month, you also have the Wheel of Fortune on your side. So like those conversations are not going to be a problem. You're not going to encounter resistance when you have them. They're going to be well received. Maybe not even well received, but like it's not going to become the conflict that maybe you might fear it would be. You'll be met in kind of a space where people understand that what you're saying is fair and real. So that's your reading for this month, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, or found it useful, I guess at least, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I post the videos for all of the signs before the 1st of every month, so that you can get a look at what's to come for you for that month a little bit, or like at least at the beginning of the month, rather than, you know, like once you're in it, which would make sense, right? So that's it. I will pause this and pan down so that you can see the 3 cards together, which is kind of helpful visually, and also it's like a beautiful deck. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in. So as you can see, there's my cat, the Wheel of Fortune as your focus, Temperance as your set aside, and the Seven of Swords, oh, she's rubbing against the camera, as your additional consideration. See you next month.